Well, just based on what I'm seeing, I don't feel comfortable having you perform the test because I don't want you to have the potential to fall over and hurt yourself.
Alrighty, so I think we'll start off with Paul Pelosi because I got some stuff pulled up on him.
Yes.
And I got some opinions to say, being someone who has DUIs from Napa County.
From the same county.
The same county, bro. And I'm going to clarify a few things that this one article says that's bullshit. And anyway.
Go ahead and say all of that wild shit online, man. You might need a Dr. Phil if you catch me outside. And I will not apologize if you ain't one of mine, fam. I cannot afford to give a fuck if it was finance.
Everything woke turns to shit.
So let's just go ahead and fucking let's
dive on in there,
let's jump right into it. All right, mother factors. Welcome to Fact You, a show that could give a fact. I'm one of your hosts. Good.
We're gonna fact you up tonight.
That's right. I hope you're ready for one that this episode kind of hits home, bro, because it deals with something that happened to somebody in a prospective home that neither of us live in right now, but we did for quite some time. Anyway, I'm one of your hosts, Ray Hazen. You know the guy with me. You love him.
I'm Jason McMurray. I love you too, Ray. You know, and this does hit really close to home for me because I too have had a DUI in the same county. And, you know, I don't live there anymore, but I do work there 5 days a week still.
Yes,
you know, I just can't afford to live there anymore. That's another show entirely. You know, just the double standard, I guess. I don't know how else to call it.
That's exactly what it is.
It makes me feel like a second-class citizen, bro. I mean, I got off light because, you know, I didn't have any record, you know, and it was circumstances, this and that, and I don't want to get into my rap, but I did a lot more than he did. I mean, he got 5 days.
5 days. And so what we're talking about here, for those who don't know, is we're talking about Mr. Paul Pelosi. Let me rephrase that. Mr. Nancy Pelosi.
Yes. That's better.
Yes. Paul Pelosi, Nancy's husband, 82-year-old man, got a DUI in Napa County a little while back. And apparently there was a collision. And there was an injury involved. Yep. Not very severe, but still an injury. Yep. And I'm going to touch on that in a second too. But anyway, apparently after the accident, I mean, he gave a field sobriety test, obviously failed, but was cite and released. And
have you seen the video that TMZ released of his field sobriety check?
No.
I will send that link to you when we're done recording. You got to see it. Yes.
No. Let's go ahead and take a look at that right now.
Do you think you're physically able to balance on one foot or another? No. Okay. Yeah, I don't want you to injure yourself if you can't. Would you be willing to do the breathalyzer test? Well, no, I've only essentially done 2 cash, but I have to do a couple. And rather than waste your time and do a bunch of different tests, if we just do that one, that'll be... most of them require balancing, and I wouldn't want you to fall over and hurt yourself. So the balance test, what it's going to require, so I'll explain it to you, and then you let me know if you're okay or you feel comfortable performing it. So you could try both feet out if you want. I'll let you start. You can try the test with both feet. I'll give you like a pre-trial run, for lack of a better term. You could try it with both feet, see which one you feel more comfortable with, and then once you're ready, just let me know. Are you sure you could complete the test? Okay. Because I really don't want you to fall over and hurt yourself. That's the last thing I'm... Right, but that defeats the whole purpose of the test, grabbing onto a patrol car. You seem pretty shaky on your legs, and I don't want you to fall over. So.
Well, I got fall over. It's a question of
right. Well, just based on what I'm seeing, I don't feel comfortable having you perform the test because I don't want you to have the potential to fall over and hurt yourself. That's not what I'm trying to accomplish. So we'll do a different test, and then I determine that they're still under the influence, and I place them under arrest. Then there's a separate chemical test that they're required to take. So it's two separate breath tests. Like I said, this one is voluntary. I'm requesting you do it, but like I said, you have the option.
we did always have a test.
Right.
And I
But
passed all of the test.
so
why are we doing that?
so none of the tests are pass or fail. And a lot of people that actually think that they're pass or fail, but there's not. None of the tests are pass or fail. There's just if you were obviously the one driving the vehicle, right? Nobody else was controlling it somehow.
I had a glass of wine before dinner.
So I'm requesting that you take a breathalyzer test. It's a voluntary test.
Passed all of the test.
So
why are we doing that?
so none of the tests are pass or fail. Are you willing to do the breathalyzer test?
I don't think so. We did always have a test. And I'm going to go home.
Right. No, I understand you want to go home. You're involved in a crash.
Right.
I smell alcohol coming from your breath. I can see you're very unsteady on your feet.
Video shows exactly what happened, Professor.
Yeah, and people are troubled because there's a concern about special treatment. There was a concern about his referring to his status, giving a card indicating that he gives money to the police. All of that created rather bad optics.
So anyway, I mean that's freaking crazy. So I mean, anyway, here's something that I was reading. So here, I got a couple articles pulled up real quick. So first off, at first they were saying that people were saying charges were dropped. Well,
Right.
They weren't actually dropped. They just hadn't been filed yet. And I understand that. So
Well, the
sometimes-
court court takes a while. You know?
and when it comes to misdemeanor cases, they have up to a year to file, and felony cases they have up to 3 years.
Right.
But anyway, here's the thing. Here's one of the first things that jumped out at me that really irritates me. This is not a felony or a misdemeanor DUI. This is a felony DUI.
It is.
And do you want to know why? There was an injury. I don't care.
That's what makes it a felony.
Yes, sir. I don't care if the guy got a scratch on his leg. It doesn't matter. If there's an injury involved, it is a felony DUI. How do I know this? Got it. Okay, I've read the law on behind it because I've fought a case in this personally. You know,
I have to interject here. You're right. It is totally a felony, but I just wanted to say that that's a bullshit law. You having to fight it, I'm sure you realize that, but yeah, it's something like if somebody gets a freaking bruise, a scrape, any sort of bodily injury. And it's all a result of that big MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving push that we had back in the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. So, anyways, continue, sir. I just wanted to pop that in there.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah, it's a fact for you.
Yeah. You know, the more you know. But anyway, so here I'm going to read this. This is from CNN. Okay, so CNN House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband was charged with under the influence of alcohol causing injury and DUI and driving with .08 or higher causing injury, according to the news out from Napa County. Paul Pelosi, 82, was arrested on May 28th, and having been involved in a nighttime collision, Pelosi had been attempting to cross Highway 29, when his 2021 Porsche. What is an 82-year-old man drunk doing driving a 2021 Porsche? What is an 82-year-old man doing driving a Porsche in general?
Because that's like, the Porsche is like the fucking Toyota for rich people, bro. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's only $80,000. Shit.
That's way too much car for a person that old. Not to mention, what I want to know is it electric? Oh, we'll get to that. we'll get to that in a minute. Is it a gas powered car? That's what I would like to know.
Oh, that's twin turbo, motherfucker. That is all go.
Right,
you know,
for sure.
I'm a Porsche fan, actually. So, I had a 74 Porsche 914 with I removed the computer from it and everything, and we put I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was dual carbs basically, because the way that engine is set up, both sides of the engine had their own carb. And
was that the
sweet.
one where the engine was like right behind the seats, and there was kind of like a trunk in the front and the back? It's kind of like the mid-engine thing.
Yep.
That was a cool car. But a buddy of mine. Go ahead.
It was a mid-engine. That's exactly what it is.
Okay, cool. A buddy of mine had one of those. It's real cool.
It was air cooled too, so
yeah,
it didn't do too well in stop and go traffic. But if you're freaking on the highway, that thing eats up some roads. Anyway, his 21 Porsche was hit by a 2014 Jeep traveling northbound on the road. The vehicle sustained major collision damage, according to the criminal complaint. According to the release, the punishment for a misdemeanor charges includes up to 5 years probation and a minimum of 5 days in jail. So he got the bare minimum the sentence could give, which, trust me, I've never gotten the bare minimum on any sentence ever. Nobody gets that. Nobody.
No.
Ever.
And not to mention, once again, I revert back to the injury. Go ahead and Google it. Everyone fact check me if you want. Any DUI involving an injury is a felony.
See, what they did was they didn't redact it. They just kind of overlooked it. There was an injury, but if you look on any mainstream media news outlets, they say specifically, and you and I know the reason why they specifically say there was no injury. There was an injury. I think it was a sprained wrist or something like that.
Right.
But still, these outlets specifically go out of their way to manipulate the what's it called when you're talking about the narrative. Yes,
well,
and
you control the narrative, you control the story, and if you control the story, you control history.
Exactly, and if you control history, that's what these demons do. That's a whole nother show.
Matt. Because matter of fact, I got something on that I could tell you about. Did you see how
Put it down.
How they're completely changing the narrative now, which of course we already knew they do that all the time. But the Democrats are now the tough on crime party.
On the airwaves in states like Pennsylvania.
John Fetterman wants to release convicted murderers from prison.
Public safety is why I ran for office.
And now, on the stump.
I'm opposed to defunding the police. I'm also opposed to defunding the FBI.
How to fight crime and gun violence are taking center stage. During a stop in Pennsylvania Tuesday, President Biden attacked those Republicans who've called for defunding the FBI in response to its search of former President Donald Trump's home in Florida.
Trump 2020!
And denounced Republicans who defend rioters at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th.
You can't be pro-law enforcement and pro-insurrection. You can't be a party of law and order and call the people who attacked the police on January 6th patriots.
And schools were never actually shut down for like 18 months across the nation.
you have done the schools any differently? Because I think that's where a lot of parents are upset about what happened with the schools.
Well,
do you think you could have made any other choice?
Well, I think, just to be clear, over 80% of our students miss less than 10 days of in-class learning. The vast majority of students were in. It depended, again, on population density. Many of these decisions were being made by local folks to be able to do what was necessary to keep them there. I think, again, in hindsight, if we could have known that we would get vaccinations out as quickly as possible, we prioritized teachers and the staff in schools to get there. We're doing it differently now, and since May of 2021, almost every one of our students has been in the entire time and been doing that. So I think with hindsight as 2020, perhaps we could have tailored a little bit closer to that. But the fact of the matter is, making the case that we shouldn't have done anything is simply wrong.
You know, I have not caught that. I've heard, Democrats have beaten that fucking tough on crime drum for like the last fucking 15, 20 years.
Oh, I know. And they're so not. They're the party that just lets people get away with shit.
Look at any metropolis.
Any Democratic-run city, yes.
And look at the gun laws that they have, which are the most stringent. If we look at California, Chicago, New York, there's another state too that's pretty fucking bad, but mainly California and New York and Chicago, and they have the most homicides by gun per capita anywhere in the world, almost. I mean, I don't know about the world, but anywhere in the country. And they just don't understand that what they do is they make people victims, and they promote's not the right word. They don't try to deter violent crime.
Condone.
They condone it. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you look at the homicide rates in fucking in Chicago, Illinois, or in San Francisco, Oakland and San Jose, California.
Oh,
San Jose, California, I can't remember the number, but I think it's like 2.3 million people now. It's
a lot.
It's huge. And I mean, that particular city went as far as requiring gun shop owners, I'm pretty sure it was in San Jose, in Santa Clara County, to take pictures and video of any gun transaction.
Really?
Now, I tell you what.
I mean,
Kilo G, when he gets a gat down on the side of Circle K, is not giving his freaking print. And he's not waiting 10 days for that shit. He's going to come kill you right now.
Right.
And
and it's silly. Okay, yes, I mean, some legal guns are used in things like this, but I would be willing to guesstimate that somewhere between 70 and 85% of all gun violent crimes are by non-registered guns.
Now I think it's higher. I think it's like 94%. But
see,
I'll search for that fact. When
look at me playing devil's advocate, trying to give the benefit of the doubt. No, I imagine it probably is higher than that. You're right.
It's stupid. It's freaking retarded, bro. And I'll go out on a limb and say that R word. It's freaking retarded.
With what am I trying to say here? Without sounding like a complete asshole.
You are a complete asshole.
I know I am. Actually, I'm the whole ass. Okay, get that right. I'm not an asshole.
That's why we all love you.
That's right. Because school shootings are garbage, and of course those people should burn in hell and all that. But you can combine any 4 mass shootings at a school, and it's your average weekend in Chicago.
Oh yeah. Oh. It pities it.
Yeah.
It pities the fool. You know what I mean?
You might get 30 or 40 in a group of mass shootings, but
That's
you're going to get
high.
That's high. That's usually
like
low, yeah.
9, 15 tops. Usually
Right.
it's like 3 or 4.
I'm just thinking because the last big one, there was 21 involved with that one kid. So that's, where my mind's going right now. But I mean, you get 14, you get damn near 40 every weekend in these major cities.
Oh yeah. Per
shot
day.
Up,
Per
not
day.
just kids, but people in general,
No. We're kind of straying from
we're straying. We're totally
and that's
straying.
cool. That's what I love about the show. But I just want to put one more little fact out there.
Go for it.
So in the Bay Area where I live, in the San Francisco Bay Area, road rage shootings are becoming common. Earlier this week, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, a 9-year-old got shot. And I think it was this morning or yesterday morning, I can't remember which, a 12-year-old got shot. People are just like shooting at cars, dude. Well, and they think it's okay.
It's because, for the most part, Democratic policies don't prosecute shit like that, and they pretend like they do. They make it seem like they do, but they really
turn a blind eye.
It's like, what was it? The Chaz Chop up there. That mom and her kid got shot up when they just pulled off on the wrong. They're on the freeway and got off on the wrong exit on accident. We're trying to turn around and get back on the freeway, and they went through that Chaz Chop thing up there in Portland, and they got shot up, and the 9-year-old little girl in the back seat got killed, and I guarantee none of those people ever saw nothing. And you see it. I mean, there's videos of Antifa. There's a van. Matt Walsh covered it. I'll see if I can find the video.
The Tough on Crime Party. Okay, that's interesting. So here's a thread from Andy No. Published this yesterday. He says, after supporting streetcar takeovers in Portland, one of Antifa's friends was killed when a stray bullet aimed at an elderly driver caught on the road hit someone on their own side. What a tragedy. Antifa are asking for money for the victim's family. The victim, right. Actually, it might actually be a tragedy because there is a real victim here, which is the elderly man. He continues, says, video of a street takeover near the Portland Expo Center on August 28th shows an elderly driver in a van trying to flee. The rioters shot up his vehicle and shoot him. So there is a victim, the elderly man who was shot. His condition is unknown. Bullets by the rioters hit 2 on their own side, killing 1. Police made no arrests. Also on August 28th, rioters took over another part of Portland for a streetcar event at the intersection of Northeast 72nd and Sandy. They used flamethrowers. Police did not make arrests because of historic low staffing numbers following 2020 Antifa riots. So Antifa are in the street. This is not the first time we've seen this. They've been doing this for years. They take over a street, and if you try to drive down the street, they stop you. And if you don't listen to their orders, they will kill you and not arrested. You have people in Antifa shooting people in cars on video, and no arrest is made. Oh, the Democrats are tough on crime, all right. And it's the right wing. It's right-wing radicals we have to worry about. Where are the right-wing radicals across the country, in the middle of the street with guns, stopping cars and shooting people at will? Where's that happening?
This old guy, he's just driving down the road, and Antifa just opens fire at him and shoots him, right? But Antifa are the victims. The way the news spun the story, they're the victims because he plowed through him with his vehicle or something.
Oh yeah,
they're in the middle of the street shooting at him. Dude, I just got one question for all the liberals and Democrats out there that actually, I mean, do you guys believe all the shit that the mainstream media says, that the left news says? Do you believe that the schools really weren't shut down?
They eat it up like.
Do you believe that shit?
It's like spoon fed to them, bro. It's not even in the mainstream media anymore. It's what the sad part is, my friend. It's all over social media.
Oh,
and the what's it called? The algorithms and shit. It just fucking. It's like an echo chamber. It just keeps feeding that, and that's why they're all so like holier than thou about this shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, I hear what you're saying, dude, and it's like fucking when it comes to the defund the now all the way up to the White House are saying that they never said defund the police. They're fund the police. Do we forget the whole push 2 years ago about defunding the police and how that was a leftist Democratic agenda? Do the Democrat is the blinders up that much that you really don't even remember what happened in your own lifetime? Let alone, okay, let's not talk about what happened in the 60s.
Not even your own lifetime, dude. It's like in the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit.
Like 3.5 months ago, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm going to say the R word again. It's fucking retarded, bro.
Here you go.
Mean,
it's
shit.
To take here, we're going to switch it up. We're going to steal a word from Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. It's detarded. All right. Because it's just dumb and retarded. It's detarded. Anyway,
I like that one.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so back to
the schedule.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Back to Pelosi. So I mean, it's just insane. So I mean, the guy didn't actually get off. He did get sentenced to 5 days in jail, but it's like
time
5
served.
days.
No.
And of course, no. I know that, and he got credit for time served. I know exactly how that works. I mean, on 5 days, you're not leaving booking, even if you didn't have time served.
I guarantee that motherfucker bonded out soon as he got booked.
Oh yeah, he's $5,000.
There's no way that guy actually was in jail for 5 days.
So you ready for this? His DUI was a $5,000 bond, and he posted it. My first DUI was no bail, no bond. They wouldn't even let me bond out. Napa County, same county.
Yeah,
probably the same courtroom.
Probably the same judge.
Probably
no, it wasn't the same judge. That's another thing. Yeah. That judge
they do cycle through him.
That judge was has been noted as an anti-Trump supporting leftist radical.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that. You got a lot of those around there. Yep. You got a lot of uppity Karens in Napa County, dude.
Yeah,
sure.
This is like Karen Hulk.
Yeah. Hey, that's a little foreshadowing. A little foreshadowing, people. Stay tuned. A little foreshadowing.
See what I did there?
I love it. All right, let's go ahead and move into our next topic then, dude. Pelosi's a douche, and neither one of them. I mean,
let's talk about her stupid ass and fucking nephew. Then how about that? Let's talk about Gavin.
Well, before we go into Gavin, because he does play with Pelosi, there's something real quick that we should touch in the UK that's actually plays into what Gavin's going to be doing here in America.
I'll be off camera for a second. Take it.
The thing that you sent me the other day, okay, and I found an actual article. Soaring electric prices put car savings in reverse. Charging electric vehicles, and this is by Ramsey Touchberry of the Washington Times. Charging electric vehicles in Britain soon will be more expensive than filling up gas-powered vehicles, thanks to soaring electricity prices. An economic switcheroo that could be a harbinger of shrinking financial benefits for Americans who go green. British energy regulators told electricity consumers to expect to pay 80% more beginning October 1st. The national price cap on residential electricity will send the average bill from about $190 per month to an estimated $343 per month. That's $150 more, That's 80%. Wow. Or more than $4,000 per year. That's the increase. The shocking price hike stems from the nation's limited reserves and Russia's cutoff of one of the region's major sources of electricity generation, natural gas. See, people tend to forget about that. We'll talk about that when you get back. It's just like, where do you think electricity comes from? Oh, it comes from the wall, dude. Where do you think it comes from, Dad? It comes from the wall.
It comes from the wall. Retarded.
Right,
Hey, you remember Pee-wee's Playhouse and he had a word of the day? From now on, every time I say retarded, we got to do that.
Yeah, we're going to.
In this show.
Okay, so.
Because it's fucking retarded.
British energy prices eclipse those of other Europeans because the nation lacks domestic energy storage and production of natural gas, nuclear, and renewables, making it more reliant on imports. So they have nothing of their own, no way to store it. They literally just get it as they need it from wherever. So they got to pay whatever.
They're an island like the size of Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I think they're smaller than that, actually. But anyway.
Kenny Stein, policy director of the Institute of Energy Research, warned that the financial hardship in Europe from rising energy prices is an omen for Americans if the U.S. Transitions from fossil fuels to renewables faster than the supply can handle. For the U.S., this is a quote, air quotes and everything. For the U.S., this actually gets to an underlining fallacy of a lot of people that are pushing electric vehicles. They assert electric vehicles are cheaper because they assume electricity prices are going to stay cheap. Mr. Stein said, "You're combining the increased demands of electricity. That means you've got to build a new generation." The U.S. is making a major pivot towards electric vehicles. President Biden's climate spending law is pumping billions of dollars into the production of EVs and providing tax credits to people who buy them. California last week announced a phase-out sale of the new gasoline-powered vehicles beginning in 2026. Let me rephrase that. It just adds the word. That's the deadline, is 2026. So,
by
the phase-out's
2026, it begins.
I think that's it. It needs to be done by then.
Well, they won't. They have from 2020. My understanding is they have from 2026 to 2030 to get rid of, like, in 2026 they can't buy any.
Oh yeah.
They can't have any more gas vehicles, and then they got this many years to sell them. Guess what? Those motherfuckers are going to sell fast.
Hey, you know what?
You know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And you know what? There was a picture underneath it, and the last word of the sentence was the deadline. And then if you actually scroll down, there's more. The rest of the sentence continues below the picture. So the deadline to end sales of new gas-powered cars is 2035. Many other Democratic-run states are expected to follow California's lead. And, we're almost to the end, I guess. Another couple paragraphs. British electricity prices will nearly double from about 33 cents per kilowatt to 60 cents per kilowatt an hour, making electric vehicles cost more before and after owners drive them off the lot. The average electricity cost in the U.S. is less than 11 cents per kilowatt, according to the Energy Information Administration. With British electricity prices climbing and gasoline at roughly $7.40 per gallon, the owner of a $40,000 electric Kia Niro would spend more than $100 more to travel 400 miles than the owner of a $26,000 gas-powered Kia Sportage. So you hear that. So if so not only do you have to buy a more expensive car, but you'll be paying about $100 per every 400 miles more.
You pay more.
Yep.
And guess what? Yep. Every time you pay, guess what?
Oh, the prices go up more.
They get taxes. They tax every single transaction.
Sure. According to an analysis by the Royal Automobile Club of the British. Okay, yeah, that was just ending this. Okay, a $71,000 Jaguar will cost nearly $115 more than its gas-powered equivalent. London-based electrifying.com has a slightly rosier outlook. It estimates that the average electric vehicle will now save 27% on fuel, less than 75% a year ago. With the higher electric prices, an electric Volkswagen that travels 10,000 miles per year will save $34 per month on fuel compared to the. Okay, yeah, that's what that one company's saying. Let's get.
What do you think about this?
Oh, I think it's garbage. Okay, so here, let's just get into our story. So basically, so Here, why don't we talk about Newsome real quick, and then because it all ties together, and then we'll talk about what we think. Which we kind of mentioned it a minute ago, but anyway, go.
I live in California, and evidently Gavin Newsome, Nancy Pelosi's nephew, is my elected representative. And as the governor of California, he has basically decreed. All right, it's not quite that crude.
No. He had someone walk out with the scroll.
Yeah.
Hitty.
It was like Lord Farquaad. I fucking swear to God, dude. Yeah. So this motherfucker comes out. I think it was on the 21st or 22nd. Yeah, it was on a Monday. It was the 21st of August. No, shit. It was. I think it was the 21st.
A week
anyway,
ago.
Yeah. So it was a Monday, right? Check it out. He comes out, says, by the year 2035, all vehicle sales in California will be electric vehicles, EVs only. No gas, no. Now, this is what really cracks me up. No fossil fuel. What do you think charges those motherfuckers? You fucking retard.
Here, this is from gov.ca.gov. Governor Newsome announces California will phase out gas-powered cars and drastically reduce demand for fossil fuel in California.
What day was it?
I can't even get through with a straight face, dude.
What day is it?
This
it was August 21st, I think. Or 22nd, 21st, I think.
Yeah, this is posted. No way, dude. 2020?
Oh, yeah. Well, they've been talking about it. That's an old article.
Okay, yeah.
Edit that shit out.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. This is published September 23rd.
Oh, yeah, it is the same
2020.
thing. Pushing this shit for a long time.
Yeah. But it's like, okay, I love that. I saw, go out, they ask people questions and let people just give stupid answers. And one of them once was, well, where do you think... Well, because they were talking about, you really think electric cars will cut down on fossil fuel emissions? Oh, yeah, of course. Well, where do you think electricity comes from? It comes from the wall, was literally the answer that someone gave.
That was a city representative, like the city manager or something. I've seen that clip. And the reporter asked her, because she was like, we've got all these electric vehicle charging stations now that I can only assume they probably spent $500,000 on installing. And the reporter's like, well, where does the electricity come from? And she's like, it comes from the wall in the building.
All right, let me finish reading this caption real quick because it does sum it all up. And yeah, it's from 2020, I guess, but it just shows the sheer idiocracy of it. Governor Newsome announces California will phase out gasoline-powered cars and drastically reduce demand for fossil fuels in California's fight against climate change.
All right. Well, you said it. Go.
Okay, number one, you can't fight climate change. Like the climate changes every single day.
Not affect the weather.
No. There's no matter how much money you throw out the window, it's not going to make the sun come out. Or the rain come down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or go away. Or
right.
Yeah.
But on top of it, it's like climate change does exist. It's a real thing. It changes fucking from minute to minute, hour to hour.
It's
changing
weather.
Constantly. It's called weather. But are we anywhere near a climate catastrophe? No. I hate to break it to the world. No, we're not. Not even close. The polar ice caps are not going to melt, and we're not going to flood tomorrow. And we don't have what's her name? AOC, the best Latina booty in the business. We're not dying in 9 years despite what she's. Al Gore said we were gonna die, fucking in like 09. We were supposed to be dead. Hello. There's always a catastrophe. It's always going to be the end of the world.
Oh, it used to be the ozone when I was a kid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, remember there was acid rain a while before that.
It's always fucking something.
And then they just push the goalposts further back and further back. So that's why you realize that's why they switched it to climate change, right?
Oh yeah. It used to be something else. It was climate. What was it called?
Well, global warming.
Global warming. Yes.
Yes.
And then other parts of the world started to cool down, so they had to change to climate change. And that's fucking weather. We live on a rock spinning throughout a fucking vast void.
Sometimes it's closer to the fire. Sometimes it's further away from the fire. You know what I'm saying? Like it warms up, it cools down. It gets hot, it gets cold. It rains, it snows.
I mean, anybody that knows how to barbecue chicken can fucking understand this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Amen, dude. Well, anyway, all right, let's get into the car thing. So
So we were talking about Newsome, right? Pelosi's nephew.
Yep. Banning electric vehicles, which he already banned. Banning gas powered. He already banned gas powered utilities, right? Like generators and weed whackers and shit, correct? Didn't he already do that?
Yep.
Yeah, which is stupid. Anyone who's ever tried to drag a freaking extension cord around their lawn as they mow the lawn knows exactly what I'm talking about how stupid that is.
Well, not only that, but
I guess they have ones with batteries that you can hook into them now. But,
yes, that's what they have. But they
didn't always.
The problem is that like entrepreneurs that are like trying to run a landscape biz, you know what I'm saying? Do you know how many batteries you would have to have to weed whack like 15 yards? You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Every day.
Yeah. And not only that, the batteries they I don't know if die is the right word, but they get shitty.
Batteries will eventually.
The more often you recharge them, after a while, they're just not going to hold a charge.
Yep.
You know, and
very true.
And the longer between that time and when they're running proficiently could be quite a big gap. So you're looking at wasting actual electricity recharging a vessel that doesn't hold or give out the voltage. I don't know if that's the right word.
Amplitude, all that stuff, whatever.
Right. The package that it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Right. So this motherfucker, Newsome.
Nuisance. He's fucking retarded. All right, we're gonna wear that one out today.
Isn't it fun though?
I'm totally gonna I'm gonna make the word flash and do the ding, ding, ding. I'm gonna try to get footage of other people screaming and just cut it in too sometimes.
All right,
anyway.
All right, so this retarded motherfucker. It was a Monday. Forget the date, all right? So he comes out on Monday, and he's like, his office is like all 2035, no more electric, no more gas-powered vehicles are allowed to be sold in this state. Like the fucking emperor and shit, right? So, but the kicker is, I shit you not, 3 days later, dude, the State Energy Resource Board
was like, whoa.
Puts out a freaking post and they say, don't charge your electric cars this weekend. Don't use your air conditioning. Our electric grid can't handle it. You can't write this. You can't make this shit up, bro.
I've been telling people for a while, and I'm going to go back a little bit, okay? And I'm going to go back to one of my original that I've never shared on the show, but one of my first in a while, conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theory.
All right, let's go.
So this goes all the way back, and I've been trying to explain this to people for a while. I was like, you remember when they were doing all the shut-offs of power in California like a couple years ago? Like they were shutting it off like every couple days for like a week or two at a time.
Like
and
the rolling blackouts and shit.
Right? Yeah, but they were the planned blackouts where they were just shutting whole counties off and stuff.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain to somebody that yes, it's just all assumption, but I
lived through that shit.
I lived through it too. No, it's not assumption that it happened. It really happened. What I'm saying, it's assumption of what I'm stating is, there is this is an assumption. There is a finite amount of electricity in the grid. Electricity doesn't just. Yes, I know lightning is made in the air.
It doesn't appear out of nowhere.
But it doesn't just appear out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Electricity has to be made. And it's something like what? Like 89% of all electricity is made by coal. So whether people realize that or not, like the more electricity used, the more fossil fuels you're burning. Hate to break it to you. You want to get away from fossil fuels, there's only one way in this world, and it's called nuclear. But that's a whole nother show.
You know, it totally is, and I think that instead of using the word electricity, I think the word power or energy, perhaps energy, would be a little bit more accurate, because if you say electricity, then you're going to be driving an electric vehicle, and I swear to God, I'm fucking not. You know?
No. But anyway, so that's what I was trying to explain to some people back when they were doing those power shutoffs in California. Was I believe that was a preemptive measure to conserve, because already there's already a finite amount of electricity in the grid. Period. End of story. Whether you want to accept it or not, that's just reality. And then all of a sudden, in the last 10 years or so, there's just been a boom of electric cars, and that's what I was saying. I said now everyone's plugging in these electric cars, and they're sucking up the grid, and they're using up power more than we're producing probably. And I think that's why they were shutting off power over there, was to conserve power for other days. You know,
I don't think they were conserving it for other days. I think they were conserving it for other places.
Quite possibly. You know, because I mean, it is also known that the only reason that the PG&E was even allowed to get away with that was because of Gavin Newsome, because you know they're financial backers of his. Instead of prosecuting them and holding them responsible and saying no, you can't shut off your power, fix your shit. You know, he went ahead and said no, you don't have to pay for all the stuff that happened here, there, and the other. And sure, go ahead and shut down, protect yourself. You know.
Well, you know. You know, I'm going to step on a few toes here when I say this, but you're right. And all comes from this whole crisis as far as wildfires go, and especially in this state. I can't attest to other states. I have no idea.
No.
But in California, we can't if there's a fucking owl, a certain type of owl, you can't quell, what's it called when you trim, you can't trim back the forest. The Native Americans actually all did this in their habitat or their area that they lived in, and that's why we didn't have giant forest fires like we do now, because there was no fuel on the ground to
that's what spreads the fires and makes it burn, is all the stuff that's growing underneath the trees. And that's what I was going to do. The two things that caused the fires here in California back then was bad forestry management. No one was out trimming and taking care of what needed to be done. They're just letting it grow because, well, that's it. And then on top of it was old, poor PG&E, you know? I mean, with all due respect, I mean, I don't buy that totally, that it was just bad telephone poles and stuff. I really don't, because like they were saying, 80-mile-an-hour winds, we got to shut down. And I was like, wait, you're telling me up until 2018 there had never been an 80-mile-an-hour wind ever?
Right. Like all of a sudden,
we got 80-mile-an-hour winds that are now.
No, because you're not taking care of your fucking shit.
Exactly.
And it's a semi-monopoly. All right, I've lived in a few. Actually, I can't even say a few. A couple other cities in California that I didn't get my electricity from Pacific Gas and Electric, PG&E. But basically, everybody in California, especially Northern California, is getting their electricity, their utilities. They have no other option. I mean, there's other options, but they cost even more. So it's kind of like a monopoly. And
Totally
being an ANCAP, I'm like, oh, well, fuck yeah. But they screwed us really, really hard.
They should have to pick either gas or electric. You can't fucking sell both, dude. BGE&N, Pacific Gas, Electric, and Nuclear.
Yeah, if we had just 2 or 3 more reactors in this state, we would be fine. And
yes, people, Chernobyl was bad. It was bad, but you know how it's so rare. It's kind of like flying. Yes, flying is dangerous, but statistically, it's much safer, much more economic, better for the environment, faster.
You're more likely to get in a car accident than a plane wreck. You're
more likely to start forest fires with electric poles fucking snapping around on the ground than you are a nuclear meltdown. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. But yes, no, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's bullshit. I think people are about to start paying a lot more. I think blackouts and brownouts and loss of electricity is very much in the future. And I think as long as the left is the liberal media controls the media and the narrative story, they'll be able to convince the masses that they're using only electricity and not fossil fuels. But at some point or another, when fossil fuel consumption's gone up and some PETA person out there catches whim of the fact that they're having to burn more coal to fill the demand of electricity, then it might come out, and then we might be able to convince the people to get away from it. I'm actually just hoping that these electric cars will eventually go the way of woke theory, SJWs,
down on south,
transgender theory, like all that. I hope one of these eventually. I'm hoping, this is my hope and pray. I still haven't lost faith in humanity that one day everyone's gonna wake up and be like, "What the fuck were we thinking?" That's some bullshit. No, let's get back to reality land, and then we'll all just take a step back to reality and go, okay,
that is quite the fantasy.
Hey.
One person at a time. One person at a time. And that's how we make it happen.
Hey, every history book will talk about the dawn of history, but then they just leave out from 2017 to 2025. It's just like, how come there's nothing ever about this period? We don't talk. We don't talk.
Yeah. It was all bad.
Yeah. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. You know what I say?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
That's great.
Alrighty, so should we get into the teabagging of the day?
Oh, I'm ready for some bagging.
Alright.
Now, it's the She-Hulk, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, in general, today we're teabagging Kevin Feige, who's president.
I just got to say that I'm not a big Marvel comic, any comic
Stop.
fan. So
I know you're not.
This is all you.
I know.
I'm just gonna laugh.
I was lightweight. I used to read comics when I was a kid. Used to like them, and I'll tell you, up until probably about 2011 or 12, comics were good still. Right after then is when they started changing everything, started pushing everything. So when you go,
when that guy died?
Stan Lee died just like a little, like right around there, a little after. I think 14.
I think it was 15.
15, something like that. Yeah, maybe 16. But he had left operation. Like he wasn't in charge of shit.
Well, that's two different franchises, isn't it? There's DC and there's Marvel.
Well, there is DC and Marvel, and DC is trash also right now. That's not the one I'm getting into. I'm getting into Marvel today, and it's mostly because they've completely destroyed Marvel. Destroyed it. It's horrible. It's garbage. It's trash. It started in the comics in around 2012. And it's like everything's become woke, PC, SJW. They're changing it. You can't have any white man as the leader, the positive male figure anymore. They've got to be the evil villain. Everyone's got to be a super transgender black woman with short hair, in a wheelchair.
Is Deadpool, is that Marvel?
That is Marvel. Deadpool was all right.
That was the beginning of it. They threw. Remember, it was that Russian. What was the name? It wasn't Titus. Was it Titus? Remember on Deadpool when he was on the freeway overpass and the two Avengers came.
Colossus.
Colossus.
Yes.
It was Colossus and. Who was with him?
I don't remember.
It was that fucking gay ass bisexual bitch, dude. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Well,
they do that with every other character has to be gay or bi or trans or something now. Like they
not only that, dude, they
can't go on without it anymore.
They totally ruined fucking Deadpool, dude. Yeah. Because I don't recall Deadpool getting pegged in any of the comics that I ever seen.
No.
But they had to include that in the movie.
But it's like, so every character, like so Thor is Thor's no longer a dude, he's now a chick. Like they're transitioning that. In the new movie even. Jane Foster, who's taken over, who's just some earthling, all of a sudden she's got the power of Thor now, which if you go back, yes, that happened, but not originally. And it's Iron Man. Iron Man's now a black girl. Tony Stark's gone. A black girl's now got the mantle. She's going to be Iron Heart. And people go, oh, well, she was in the comics. Yes, she was in the comics. She came out in 2014. You're right. Her character in comics did. So when all these woke people started writing for Marvel, that's when all this stuff started changing and happening. And the content is just dying down. So the whole point, what really set me off about Kevin Feige, because everything he's been putting out is just straight trash.
Just shit.
I mean, the new Miss Marvel series
it's
about
just
a
fucking
16-year-old little girl. I mean, with all due respect, like yes, there should be chick superheroes, there should be black superheroes, there should be. But then you know what? Create some, invent some.
Wasn't that Morgana from freaking Guardians of the Galaxy? Right? Oh my God, she was smoking hot. Okay, she was green instead of black, but we all knew it was a black chick.
Still dig it though, dude. But it's like. They're not only are they destroying and just the writing is so bad, but they're changing the characters. Like Captain America can't be that strong white guy anymore. He's now a black guy, which is cool. But like, can't he just have his own character? Why does he have to be? What if I was to go and say, okay, I want you to turn Black Panther into a white guy?
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
That's what I think would be good for Marvel.
That's exactly what they're doing.
To coin a phrase my grandfather used to say,
disgusting.
God rest him, that would go over like a fart in church.
I was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I'm saying?
freaking disgusting, man.
It's insane. Yeah. So anyway, but on top of all the woke PC, SJW, anti-white trash that they've been shoving down people's throats, the content itself is horrible. So the newest thing that Marvel's got going on right now is the series She-Hulk Attorney at Law. And that is not me being facetious or funny. That is literally the name of the show, She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Hello, Harvey Birdman was already the attorney at law, and wasn't Ally McBeal or something like that? No, she wasn't attorney at law. She wasn't something. I don't remember. But doesn't matter. I digress.
I always thought the good wife was hot. She was an attorney.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this is what. So She-Hulk's the newest brand. That's the thing going on. That's the hip thing right now. Yeah, they got a few things coming down the pipe in the movie land. They got a few things coming down the pipe show-wise. They're just off the back of the Miss Marvel series, which was absolute garbage also. But anyway, in the newest episode that just released the other day, episode 3, at the very end of it, and no, I haven't watched any of these episodes. I just know that this is what happens. Because I've seen the clips and I've watched other people talk about it, and it blows my mind. Well, anyway, at the end of the episode, I think it's post credits even. I mean, at least thankfully for that. Well, throughout the episode, Megan Thee Stallion, who's this horrible female rapper, who just raps about, she's like, what's her name? Cardi B. She just raps about her WAP, and things like that, and does dry humping on stage, and that's her whole act. It's like,
so there's no talent. Okay. It's just sex.
It's just sex. Sex is it. That's it. Sex and yeah. So anyway, she plays a character. She plays herself, but who needs help from the lawyer. She's suing some guy who's like stalking her, or did something. I don't know what. Did something. Right. So anyway, at the end of the episode, and mind you, this is what warrants for entertainment and content in a superhero thing.
That's right. There's only one Megan Thee Stallion. Next to mine.
Hi, there's my new favorite client. Just your signature there.
But they still want to know we're making it.
And then just initial. Good. And initials up here.
Oh, I'm the hottest. You ain't never gotta heat me up. You are way more fun than my last lawyer.
I will kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion.
Is you got She-Hulk and Megan Thee Stallion in like a twerking competition. They're twerking, and on TV on Disney Plus for children, for little girls. Because I mean, sure, some little boys watch it,
Disney is supposed to be all child content.
Exactly. Well, I mean, hey, they got drag queen story time for toddlers on Disney Plus or Disney Junior, whatever it's called, Disney Kids.
Well, ever since that, what was it called? It wasn't Chiclets. Netflix.
Nutlix is what I like to call it.
Netflix released a movie, and it was about a girl dance club. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
It was the girls in a twerking competition, and it was what was it called? I don't remember. But yeah, I boycotted the shit out of that.
I stopped watching Netflix after that shit came out.
Yeah, it was 11-year-old girls twerking for rooms full of grown men, basically, is what it was. Yeah. And I don't care how you shake a stick at it. You're never going to convince me that twerking is an innocent, cute little dance that anyone can do. Twerking started because it was a sexualized dance to mimic bouncing on a dick, to mimic sex. That is what it was invented for.
100% sexual. I agree.
And so to tell me that, I've seen videos. I'm not gonna say names, people's what they look, but there's certain groups of people standing outside houses in certain areas, and they're partying. And here's like 3-year-old little girls, babies, twerking with the moms and the dads. They're all outside twerking and stuff. And it's like, this is not okay. Like, it's not.
They call that a culture difference. Some people would call us extremists just for asking that question, but it is a very good question. And I think it relates directly to the lack of a full parental household. Usually there's a father missing. Sometimes it's a mother, but usually it's a father missing.
Yeah.
And squalor and overregulation by Democrats and shit. And it's fucking sad, bro. It's super sad that people keep putting up with this shit when it's really easy to take care of. It's all you got to do is get rid of all this stupid shit that you've been voting for the last 25 years and try something new, because evidently that shit ain't working,
Well, I mean, that is the Democratic motto. If something hasn't been working, you just double down on it and do twice as much of it.
Give it more money.
Give it more money. And then it should work. It should balance and figure itself out.
Yeah. Yeah, so Sage is going to get a big old sack of nuts on his face.
Feige. Kevin Feige.
Feige, not like fag.
Vag.
Don't confuse it with fag. Because that would be a bundle of sticks.
That would be a bundle of sticks. Or some cigarettes. Cigarettes. You know why they used to call them cigarettes? Because they came in little bundles wound up like that also.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
In England and shit. Yeah.
Do you want a fag, Scooby?
Sometimes. I had a gay buddy. Oh fuck! You glitched out. There you go. I had a gay buddy who, of course, they hate that word, right? And he'd always get mad when anyone.
My gay friends don't care.
Yeah, I had a few that didn't care, but this guy did. He didn't like the word too much, but he was a believer of language and words have meaning and context is everything. So I used to go up to him all the time and hey, can I bum a fag off you? Hey, can I bum a fag? And he would look at me and be like, you son of a bitch. Here you go.
Because he knows you're doing it to fuck with him.
I'm doing it just to fuck with him. Like, hey, let me bum a fag, bro.
I like doing that shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right,
call me what you want, dude. I don't care.
We're right at 59 minutes.
All right.
I think it was a good show.
I think we're good. It was a great show. Kevin Feige, you've been teabagged. Pelosi, you're a douche. Newsome, what is going on? And come on, liberals, really? You really think electricity doesn't come from fossil fuels? You really think that the schools weren't locked down, and you really think the Democratic Party are the ones about firm and stopping violence and discipline? And I mean, come on, man. Until next time.
Trump.
Go ahead.
Trump DeSantis 2024.
That's what I'm saying. Trump DeSantis 2024. Now fact off.
Go ahead and say all of that wild shit online, man. You might need a Dr. Phil if you catch me outside. And I will not apologize if you ain't one of mine, fam. I cannot afford to give a fuck if it was finance.
Everything woke turns to shit.